we'll continue talking for a few minutes, and
Yeah.
we'll put it to end for the evening.
Sure.
But I've enjoyed doing the show, and I
Thank
hope
you.
that we have uh, a person out there who
We
is
sure do.
listening, who wants to change things. Unfortunately, in talking to Ron Paul, um, he did not, come forth with that information. I know he has to know
Yeah,
about it.
I know. That was
Uh,
one of the disappointments I had with Ron Paul. One of the onlys was
he's got to come up with. He's got to, like you say, you're disappointed in him for that.
yeah.
All he would have to have done is to use this information to put these other guys on the spot. When he would put the other guys on the spot, they would all crumble. They would all come down like a bowling ball hitting the pins. He would drop them all. They
Drop
couldn't.
like Giuliani.
Yes, they couldn't answer the question, but he didn't present the question, and as a consequence, he never got the answer. So you have to make news. You have to be newsworthy. If you're going to run for president, you have to look presidential. And when there is questions offered from the moderator, and they avoid you, you have to stand in and stand up. So wait a minute. You promised you were going to come back to me. You've broken one of your promises, so we know that you don't tell the truth. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to ask all of these people here a question. If they can't answer it, then you point to the audience. Look at the camera. Say, they have refused to answer these questions,
Well, I think
and they're going to come up with an establishment lie.
this comes to the main point I was trying to make, is that the ones who want to control humanity, they control us through, primarily through what we think is real, by what they allow us to see. And we saw that through the Ron Paul movement. Whenever he spoke out against the establishment, he was left off the media. One of the main parts. Let me get back to the distortions in Christianity for just a moment before I let you go. Is the main point, I think, that brings this into it, is the idea of man being able to connect with the divine within himself and not have to go through a church, and the idea of man being eternal, took away the ability for oppressive powers like Rome to control them. They couldn't control them through the fear of death any longer.
Listen, to believe in God doesn't necessitate that you go to church.
Right.
Or you have a specific religion.
But those are the ideas that are hidden from humanity, to keep them from being more complete people, is their connection with God. Their own individual personal connection with God is misrepresented and distorted, so that they have to believe in Jesus and the way.
As a child, you were raised as a Christian
without religion.
You were raised you were told that this was true and that was true, and then along came a time in your life you said, "Whoa, this isn't as I have been told."
Right.
And you were guided along the primrose path, and you found out that, whoa, that isn't it. It's like in the song, "It ain't necessarily so." The things that you're told in the Bible, what is it? If you're liable to hear from the Bible, it ain't necessarily so. But there is, I figured out that the odds, some attorney once figured out the odds. He was one of the new guys with a computer. And I said, what are the odds are of one leaf coming together by accident? What are the odds of there being a little thing called a seahorse, or a slug, or a giraffe, or a fruit? growing from a tree.
Right.
What are the odds of all of this? On one leaf, it was something like 31 trillion to 1. I don't bet against the odds. But I know that the odds are against our survival if we believe the unbelievable, if we don't question those things that need to be questioned.
Well, what do you think about...
Don't reach out and touch beyond our fingertips.
What do you think about oracle readings and, palm readings, tarot, crystal ball, Ouija board, shamanism,
Well, if
mediums?
I want to get my palm read, I'll take out a paintbrush.
Well, because these are all parts
I'll
of...
I'll paint it bright crimson, because I'll get more out of that than I will from a swami or a soothsayer or looking into a crystal ball.
Because these are all parts of what might be considered the occult. And one of the things that happened was these were originally
just the unknown.
These were methods of people, indigenous people, to connect with a sixth sense or a greater aspect of what it means to be a human, to tap into that psychic realm or the divine within and receive inspiration or sacred knowledge from the other side. These were cultures that were wiped out by Christianity.
Have you ever
and all of those
deja vu?
Yes. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
what? A vision of what?
Have you ever experienced deja vu?
Deja vu, yes. Let me finish making this point. All of these all of these methods of utilizing our greater senses were and our connection with the other side were lumped into a group and called satanic. Now, a lot of the symbols within that group are individual cultures and aren't connected with Satanism at all, except through the distortion of the Christian church. Some of them, like the pentagram and the goat and all of these things, they were lumped into that and called Satanism after the fact.
It sounds like you've some preacher, possibly from the Jehovah's Witness.
No,
group,
not Jehovah's Witness.
Got to you at one time as an early child and said, "Well, this is the way it is."
This was history.
It doesn't have to be from Jehovah's Witness. It could be from any group, but
this was history.
As I see it,
yeah.
We have to have the right to be wrong. We have to have the right to discriminate. We have to have the right of free choice, whether that choice is made by one individual of one little teeny group of 11 people who live out in the Amazon in a village that's never been discovered or not. We need to recognize all of the linguistic, tribal, spiritual, religious, ethnic, political, and financial nation states. Some people may only believe in God and money, and money is their God. That's all right, but we must have the right to separate and to have a world that is free and not united. One world would be a disaster. We have to have many. I would hope as many as 2,000 to 3,000 different tribal, linguistic, racial, political nation states.
That is
I've written a manifesto
awesome,
on this,
Anthony.
And it's called The Free World. And freeworldalliance.com will be coming up in, maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe it'll be a week or so, but it'll be back up. We had nearly 17 million hits. We will return and certainly expand that. I'd like to see some of the clips that I have on some of these films put on YouTube, put on
I can
MySpace.
do that. I can do that for you real easily.
Good. I'll send you, what I'll do is send you I will send you a video or videos and I'll mark down those things which I think would be interesting. You may have others of your choice that may be interesting.